Hi and welcome to the Art Market podcast. I'm here with Jamie Frost. Hello Jamie.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm all right, yeah, not bad, thanks.
But you're at the Art Markets this Sunday, aren't you?
Yes, 6th of November.
Yes. Just tell us a little bit about what you do and how you do it, what we're going to expect at the Art Markets this Sunday.
I am a sculptor, I suppose, ostensibly, but I make drawings and paintings too, and it's all figurative stuff. I'm very interested in portraiture, so there's probably a bias towards portraiture there too. You'll see wood carving, stone carving, or bronze cast, drawing, a couple of paintings. Yeah, all figurative stuff.
Have you always done this? Did you train anywhere?
Yeah, I did a degree in sculpture. I trained at Loughborough more years ago than I care to remember now. But yeah, I did a degree in sculpture. And it was quite a traditional course. We learnt lots of good old-fashioned sculpture making skills. And we had a foundry there, so we were lucky enough to do that kind of stuff too.
Have you always wanted to do that, when you were a child? Was that your inspiration?
I think I didn't necessarily know I always wanted to be a sculptor, but I certainly wanted to be an artist or some kind of creative person. I remember drawing lots of buildings when I was very young. Really enjoyed, designing buildings, basically.
So you could have been an architect.
Could have been. Lots of other skills involved, which I'm not sure I would have taken quite as quickly, but I could do the pictures. That was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your process then? Do you start off sketching something out first and then work on a solid form, or what's your process?
Well, it's nearly all observational now. Yeah, so the drawing and painting is always done directly from the model, and the sculpture from the model where possible, but there's always going to be some element of secondary sources like photographs or drawing. It depends really, it depends what I'm doing. If it's for a commission, then I'd ask somebody to sit for me and I'd take photographs and measurements and make drawings. If it's something of my own, it'll probably change. The sculptures can take quite a long time to make.
Yeah.
So, for example, I've got something on the go now which has changed gender.
Really?
Yeah, well, I just met a different model who I much preferred, and I'm fickle like that, so it's become... It started off as a female figure, and this guy who started modelling for me, I'm quite interested in male models because I'm male, sort of feel in some way I can live vicariously through them or something, there's some way in which I have empathy for depicting the male figure, a male portrait. So I thought I'd much prefer to use that guy as the model. So there's no kind of clear process there. And some things are very immediate and just work, and some things like that, you're changing your idea all the time.
You've got one of your pieces of the stone one. Explain a little bit about that, because it's quite interesting.
That came, actually, yeah. I'd made a sketch. I had this model in, and he had a very sort of... had his arms folded, and he's very kind of... He reminded me of like a classical Greek or Roman sculpture, He's very sort of... he's got very sort of a figure that lends itself to sculpture. And all I did was kind of look at all those things that inspire me in sculpture, like Gian Bologna and Michelangelo, obviously. And the sculptures of theirs that I love, and things I could find out about anatomy to kind of just heighten things in that figure. So it was from a sketch about the size of a postcard that I made.
It's folding its arms, and you get that from the actual model.
Yeah, that was the pose, and the way it just kind of made the sort of S shape in the back. It kind of putting his hands under his arms, kind of pushes his shoulders out a bit, and and sort of balances his weight so that the small of his back arches back. So it was quite. Yeah. It lent a really nice shape to the torso.
Because you don't normally see kind of images of men kind of being inhibited. You normally kind of associate that with the female form in some senses, like that. But it's quite interesting to see it in the male form, because the body language is a sign of he's inhibited in some way. But I suppose that's the great thing about making a piece of work, is that whoever's looking at it kind of has their own interpretation. So.
Yeah, and I think you can't be too precious about your own intentions as an artist. I can't, I have ideas when I make something. For me, it means something in particular, but there's no way anybody else will ever get that from it.
No.
They'll get their own thing from it, so I should enjoy that rather than kind of feeling frustrated about the fact that I'm not expressing something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand.
I'm quite happy for people to take whatever they want away from something.
Yeah, because I think if you do that, if you allow that to happen, then you're creating something else other than what you've already done yourself, and that can then extend to something else. A bigger exhibition.
It makes it a richer piece of work too. if people see things in it you don't, And that includes dislike. Sometimes people are really kind of put off by something about your work. I don't think that's a negative thing.
I think that's brilliant.
People can make things that are disgusting, can't they?
Yeah.
And intend to do it. And if somebody's disgusted by something that I do, which is just a portrait, I find that really fascinating.
Yeah. But I think that's good because it's creating a reaction within somebody. You're actually moving them, and if you're moving them, then you're doing something to that. Something's happening then, isn't it? There's a relationship going on between the viewer and the piece of work, and so you've actually done your job then as an artist.
You've engaged with somebody on some level, haven't you?
Yeah.
I much prefer that to people who will just dismiss something.
Just go, I could do that.
Yeah. Or if people don't like
But I
something,
don't
but
think
they want
people
to know
would say
why.
that about your work, really.
Well, I think they do. I think you'd be surprised.
So what's the story behind the bronze piece?
The reason it's bronze is because I won an award, basically. I made a wood carving and entered that in an exhibition last year down in London, the Royal Society of Portrait Sculptors. I was really pleased to get in, and then absolutely blown away to win this award, which was for the best newcomer. And the prize was a bronze casting. Yeah, and the guy from Foundry came over during the show and he was like, "Oh, great, I can't wait to cast up a wood sculpture. We've never cast any wood before." And I was like, "Well, I'd like to make something new, if that's all right." And he was fine, he really was fine about it. But so I just made it for that. And again, it's just based on one of the models that comes to the studio.
I bet he was really honoured.
I guess so, yeah. They gave me the mould as well, so I made some plaster ones and gave him a plaster version of it.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice to be able to do that, and sort of share it with him a bit. And he's just I suppose the best portraits. I think when I've been working with models for a while, I get an insight into the character. I've no idea whether it comes out in the sculpture, but it makes it much easier for me to make a sculpture. And he's a very kind of noble guy. It's not immediately obvious, but it's quite stoic. You probably don't get that until you've known him for a few months. He's quite...
It's working with the energy and almost the personality and the soul behind the person, isn't it? And then creating a sculpture from that, in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, you have to trust that that's happening, really, because you can't engineer it. You can't say,
It's not fake, is it?
I'm going to put some of this kind of stoicism into this sculpture. I have no idea how you put stoicism into a sculpture, but just through knowing him, you hope it
comes across.
Yeah.
What was his reaction to the sculpture?
He was really pleased. He was pleased when I finish things, I'll email them out to people or put them on a blog or whatever. And I think he was quite pleased to be the subject of something like that. But he's been in a painting in the National Portrait Gallery. He's used by a lot of artists around here, and he's a good model. He's a really good model. So I think a lot of people favour him. I think it's just run of the mill for him, really. To be
God, he's lucky, isn't he?
Yeah.
And you're doing the Christmas exhibition as well in Huddersfield Art Gallery. What will you be showing there? I know you're showing about 8 pieces.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Some of the things that you'll see this weekend will be there, definitely. Mm-hmm. I'm a bit gutted that I haven't finished it for this weekend, but I'm working on a stone portrait. And that'll be there, definitely, by then. I've got a really, really large drawing, which it'd be great, actually, to show. Yeah, that big drawing would be a great thing to show again.
Be fantastic.
I think the last time that was shown was in Newby Hall in Ripon.
Oh, yeah.
I had a show there when they opened for the summer, when they opened for the tourist season.
Yeah.
That was my exhibition opened the show, if you like, and so I made that for that, really, and got it framed up for that, and it was great, but it's just not very practical to move around. It's quite heavy.
I was about to say, you probably need a van and 2 strong men.
Yeah, you need a big van and a lot of care. Really.
Yeah, definitely. So you've just recently been working with schools. Tell us a bit about that.
Portrait painting classes with secondary school kids. I'm working on a little project at the minute where kids from a couple of primary schools are working together to make, how do I explain it, a planet, basically. Because they're going to work with their music teacher and their drama teacher to come up with a kind of performance based around the idea of a journey. Yeah. So they're travelling around this planet, this big sculpture of a planet that we've made, and on the way they're talking about places that are there, or things they find, or people they see. So there are masks, there's a sculpture of some mountains.
Wow.
There's all kinds of stuff that they're going to kind of talk about and make noises and music and things to go with. There's a plant that eats animals and things.
Wow.
Can't wait to see what noises that makes.
Yeah.
And just before I finished a a project for Kay's Millennium Green in Clayton West, where I worked in the school with the kids. The school, Kay's first and nursery school, and the kids designed lots of insect sculptures. They got clay and drew things and stuff. And then I took their designs and made them on a large scale in wood. So we've got a dragonfly that's got an 8-foot wingspan. Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah, and we've got some we're not really sure what they are, but they were just great. And then I took all the bits back to the school, and the kids painted them. They look like knitwear. You know, they've got all these zigzags and bright colour, like a piñata. You know those.
Yeah, I love those.
They look really festive, basically. And then I've assembled them and put them up in the trees, sort of 20, 25 feet up in the trees.
Can you go and visit?
Yeah, it's Kay's Millennium Green
Okay.
in Clayton West. It's not easy to find. It's right in the centre of Clayton West, but I think most people don't really know it's there.
Yeah.
It's just down a little snicket next to the shop.
That's incredible. I really like that idea, and all the children getting involved, and it's starting from just an idea and then growing into something that you can actually go and visit. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's quite nice as well that it looks like the kids have made it. You know, the sculptures are pretty much just reproductions of what they made in clay, and then they've painted them, so they do look. I mean, they're impossibly ambitious. You couldn't, they're not practically something that primary school kids could make.
No.
But they look like they have been, and I like that.
Yeah.
I like the idea you could get school kids and make something like the Angel of the North. Or, some hugely ambitious project that's made with very young people.
Yeah, definitely. What are you working on towards 2012?
I have an exhibition in the Lawrence Batley Theatre. I don't know how much, it'll certainly be in the atrium of the theatre, but I'll probably start using the other spaces as well. It's work based around the figure, but it's slightly more sort of surreal or abstract. There are going to be some very, very large drawings, sort of up to about 6 metres long, sort of hanging down the atrium walls of the theatre. And that, making those will take some time, I suppose, in between all the other projects. There's a drawing from that series actually in an exhibition in Derby at the minute. I've got an exhibition in Milton Keynes, which is going to kind of show some of that work. Probably 2 of those will fit in this space in Milton Keynes. So I'm kind of hoping to just get a couple more venues to put those pieces before they all go together in the show in the Lawrence Batley.
Yeah.
So kind of a little tour, if you like.
And also you teach as well. So,
I do, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, and what if we're aspiring to do what you do, what would we need to do?
You need to come and see me and write me a very small cheque for for the fee of a class. No, I teach life drawing and painting, wood carving, stone carving. I also teach drawing and painting to kids on a weekend, and it's all based here in the studio. So we're in Springfield Mill in Denbigh. There's sort of 6 to 8 people working on projects at a time.
Because it's quite a nice space here, and I think you can learn from one another, can't you? That's the whole beauty of the classes. It's like you're developing, but other people are developing, and then they're sharing techniques, and you've got that kind of community.
Yeah, it's really nice actually. I think the community thing is, it surprised me actually just how much it is a community down here. I've sort of done things as an artist with people. I struggle to call them students really. I mean, I did the art market with a lady called Judith Brown, and she's somebody who's been coming to the studio to various different sort of classes and sessions. But really, she's
she's incredible.
She's fantastic, really great. And she's to say these people are students is a bit ridiculous. There's lots of contemporaries who come here. Yeah. And I get to work with them and share ideas with them. It's great.
Look forward to seeing you on Sunday at the Art Markets and also at the exhibition in Huddersfield Art Gallery.
I can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you. If you would like to know more about the Art Markets, go to www.artmarkets.co.uk. The Art Markets are on the 6th and the 13th of November at Home Firth Indoor Market from 10 o'clock till 4 o'clock, and our Christmas Art Market starts on the 2nd to the 4th of December at Huddersfield Art Gallery. We also have a 6-week exhibition that goes on until January. We look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you very much.